Welcome back to Breakthrough, guys. My name is Brett English.
And I'm Ryan Ortego.
And this is our first episode ever of Breakthrough Conversations. And our first guest is a very successful businessman. He is the founder of Winning SEO. He is the founder of the Body Consultants, the gym franchise. He also made cryotherapy popular in Perth. And he is now a business coach of business coaches. It's a mouthful here.
Cryotherapy, right?
Cryotherapy, whatever it is. But he took over this company, made it blow up, got out, and now he coaches people to do the same.
Yeah, which is quite phenomenal. And the knowledge that he has around just finance and investments and all that stuff is quite mind-boggling. As a crypto lord, that's what I would call who is really good in terms of just understanding the whole market, crypto market, stock market, the banks, finance, blah, blah, blah. Serial entrepreneur. He is one of those people you meet and he kind of turns that light bulb in your head where it's like, holy shit, I'm just in my way. I need to get out of my own way so I can just strive through and just push through whatever I'm going through at that moment to get to where I need to get to. And it's an amazing, phenomenal experience. I remember one question that I asked him is there any moment that you ever doubt yourself? And he's like, no. That's powerful.
Thanks for coming down, dude. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
thank you.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Blessing.
So where did the journey start for you, man?
So the journey started for me. I went to China with my dad just after I finished school. So that was back in 2011. You guys know snapback hats? New York Yankees, kind of shit like that, right? This was like back when I just kind of got onto Facebook. So like I started like buying these hats and I was like, oh, these are really cool. And I put them up on my Facebook wall. And then like people like messaging me like, oh, like can you get me one? Can you get me one? And I was like, man, there's a business opportunity in this because I was buying it for like $2 to $3.
Oh shit!
And then selling them for $35.
That's a good margin, bro.
Yeah, and then so like I was buying these hats, and then I set up a PayPal, and people were PayPaling me money while I was in China. So like every hat I bought, I could buy 10 more, and so like I started this thing. It's still on Facebook now. It's called Snapback Station.
Snapback Station.
It's pretty funny, right? And then like
catchy as well.
And like do you guys ever listen to Mac Miller?
Yeah.
So you know, like the album cover, like with the like hat would have been like 2000s. Like I can't remember the album, but like I kind of like modeled the logo off that, and then like I had a Facebook account called like Snapback Jack.
Oh, nice.
So everyone just like, it's like kind of my really old friends, they laugh about like, Snapback Jack. So yeah, did that, and then like I sold like a couple of hundred hats.
That's not
made
bad.
like 10, 15 grand or so.
And you were like 18, 17 at the time?
Yeah, 17.
First business.
Yeah.
Successful, man.
Yeah, so it was cool. And like I was driving around, like, oh, meet me here or meet me there, like come pick them up. Or like I did a stand at uni and stuff like that. So I did that, and then like I paid for my PT course, and then like did that. That was kind of 2013. And then kind of did PT, started at PT at Good Life in Cottesloe. And then like kind of within like 3 months I was kind of running like 50 sessions a week at kind of $60-$70 a session.
Pretty good.
A
lot of work hours. So.
And I think I'm like very fortunate. Like my dad's Croatian, he's just like a workhorse, and kind of I saw him leave the house at 5 a.m, come home at 8 p.m, and I kind of thought that's what a normal work day looked like. And then I had that. And it was about August of 2013. I kind of started like working with my business partner James, and like we kind of just really vibed. Like we had the same beliefs in training, same beliefs in nutrition, and we're like, man, well I kind of like capped out. Like I'd work kind of 5 a.m. till 12 p.m. on Mondays, like 3 p.m. till 8 p.m. Tuesdays, 5 a.m. to 12 p.m. Wednesdays, 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. Thursdays. And then like Friday morning, Saturday morning, it's like you can't really take more sessions. You don't want to be in there every morning. And like, what should we do? And then so like we started this boot camp, and then like we had like this like ladies boot camp, and we started like with 20, 25 girls in Cottesloe.
How much did you charge for the boot camp?
Like $60-$70 a week.
Oh, okay. Subscription.
Subscription.
That's pretty smart.
But like so, and kind of we had a really good business coach when we started back in 2013. That kind of like all include like your training, nutrition, mindset, and like we did like calories and all that kind of stuff. And we really started it to go, okay, cool. Like you can come work out, but you're not really getting anywhere because like you don't have the nutrition and the accountability and all that kind of stuff. So we like packaged it all together, ran these 8-week boot camps, and then we were like, okay, cool. Like it was January of 2014, and like we had 25 girls already re-signed back up. Like okay. Opened a second one, and then like so we had like 2 running like Cottesloe and Scarborough, and then like because we kind of booked this 3-day like business conference-y thing with like our business coach in like Las Vegas of all places, and then but it was like before that, so like my 20th birthday, it was a Sunday. We went to like Claremont Hotel and the Avenue and stuff like that, and like kind of like got home like at like 3 a.m. went around the boot camp at 6 a.m.
That's a lifestyle.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like when you're young, you can do this thing. I was 20 years old. You can kind of just do these things, right? Yeah. Rocked off, and then I was like literally getting to bed finally like 11:30, like 12 o'clock, and my business partner's like, "Oh, like let's go check out this like location." Like we kind of spitballed the idea, like kind of chatted about like let's open a gym. Like I had no intentions of ever opening gyms, and then. We were like sitting there and like he's like come open the come check it out, we'll like check this gym out, and like we went and checked it out, and the like real estate agent like still to this day we'll never forget him, Paul Tombides. He was just like, oh yeah, and I've got a couple offers on stuff, like you boys like want it, like put in an offer, and I was like young and dumb and like yeah we want this, like we'll make it work. It's like 50 grand a year, we're paying like 15 grand each for good life rent. And then like so we put in an offer, like signed the papers, put down a deposit that day, like had no understanding or idea about outgoings or like anything like that. So we go and like do this, we sign this thing, and we're like cool, like 5 days later we'll fly to like Las Vegas. So we fly to Las Vegas, hadn't really heard something, and like I still remember it to this day. Like I was kind of sitting on the bed, like just like scrolling my emails, and like I got an email from Paul. It was like, oh, the owner has accepted your offer. Like your lease starts on the 17th of March. And like by this stage, it was like the 3rd, 4th of March. We're leaving in probably like 5 or 6 days. Like, and then so we're gonna go open this gym. So like we fly back from Las Vegas after this like seminar workshop kind of thing. We land. Like on the kind of, I think it was like the 9th of March, no jet lag, no problems, and like shit, we're going to open a gym. Like we told all our clients a good life. Like we were in Cottesloe, our first gym was in Churchlands, so like a 20-minute drive, but like, you know, when you're training all like Cottesloe mums and stuff like that, they don't really want to drive.
7-minute cap.
Yeah, literally, right? 7 minutes, 100%. So we like shit, we kind of don't have any clients, so then I was like learning Facebook ads, and like I was doing all the ads, and like Jimmy's doing all these sales and shit, like, and then like we opened with like 20 girls paying us $100 a week, because like we ran like a
that's pretty gangster.
Yeah, it was pretty gangster. Like we're running like an all-female facility, because we're like, oh, like, you know, our one big thing we're always about, like our niche was like 25 to 35, just got their like first proper job, but like they don't have the like body and confidence that they had in their early 20s, because you know, like the partying and all that kind of stuff, like, you know,
you're really specific with the target.
You know, they put on like 5-6 kilos, which happens. So we're like, let's just do that, and that's what we did. Like we had 100 ladies training with us 4 times a week, like strength training, sick gym. So yeah, that was kind of like the start, and then it kind of like scaled out from there, and like, you know, we opened another gym and another gym and another gym. So like we opened 3 in 4 months in 2016, and then like we had a break, and like we kind of scaled it all up, and then we opened another 3 in kind of 2017, 2018.
What were these called?
The body consultants.
The body consultants.
So they were all the body. Yeah, so they were all the body consultants. So it just came up, like we were like, what do we do? Like I remember we're sitting in a cafe in Cot, like we're sitting at Chimbers, and we're just like, what do we call this? Like, because it started to grow, and this was like after our first boot camp, and like, what do we call this? And then we were following like Lean Bodies Consulting, and like we're following like stuff like that, and I was like, that's a cool name, and like, because it wasn't just gym, it wasn't just personal trainers, because we're like really doing that. So like the body consultants, and you know, like kind of
different brand altogether.
Yeah. So we had that.
Sounds more professional as well.
Yeah.
Like Jets or like Anytime Fitness.
Yeah.
Like consultants.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and then so
very
like
specific.
Yeah, so like, and that's what we had, and then we kind of like shortened it to TBC, and then like we kind of just grew it out, and then like kind of it got to a point where I was like, man, this, like, it's a cool business, and like I love it, but like I kind of fell in love of like the training of people and like the nutrition, and like you know, I saw like kind of the best people in the world like arguing about calories and macros on Facebook, and I was just like, man, there's more to life than
arguing about that.
Yeah, protein, carbs, and fats, and you know, like my big thing is like choose what you want to be the best in the world at. and go pursue it. And like, you know, I learned from some of the best coaches in the world. Like I got trained by, like some unreal athletes in the strength side and the body composition side, you know, like got down to 5.5% body fat and, you know, deadlifted 240 kilos and like done some,
solid way.
You know, like really gave it a good nudge. And then I was like, man, there's got to be more to life than this. And like, I did a stint in 2018 consulting for a crypto startup.
Yeah.
And that kind of really opened my eyes onto like what's possible. You know, like I was living just off Hollywood Boulevard. My office was Hollywood Boulevard. Like from my office, I watched like The Incredibles 2 world premiere and the Equalizer world premiere. So like Denzel Washington from my office.
Where was this?
In Hollywood.
In Hollywood.
Oh, yeah. America Hollywood.
Yeah. Probably.
What year was this?
2018.
Yeah.
And you were doing consulting for a crypto company.
Yeah. So like I ran a bunch of ads for this crypto. Like got them. Like I'm pretty good.
You were their marketing guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is like investment group, investment bank kind of. My really good mate worked for him, and like I've been in crypto for ages, and he was like, "Oh, can you like help us with this?" And then he's like, "Oh, can you like do Facebook ads to get investors?" So like I ran like a bunch of Facebook ads for Sydney, Melbourne, and Perth, and like, you know, the cap was 100 investors, bums on seats, and like we filled it in like 48 hours.
What was the minimum requirement to be an investor?
Oh, like they were just roadshows. So like at the time it was 10 grand, but like we didn't put that because, you know, like
fair enough.
You're gonna like it's a really interesting.
How do you target it? Like the Facebook marketing to a specific audience who's willing to invest, you know, 10K or more.
Yeah, like our thing was like they had to like a bunch of different things. So like Range Rover, Rolexes, like boss hunting, like just different kind of the things that people, people of like, people of like an upper echelon are gonna like. And it's like, you know, it's like people that understand nice things, that like nice things. And it's just marketing. And it's like, you know, you can charge one person $1 million, or you can charge 100 people like $10,000. Like it really depends on like what's your like product and deliverables. So we did that, and I was like, it was really cool, and that was like a really eye-opening experience because like I consulted for gyms, I consulted for like hair places and like clothing, and I did my Facebook ads for the hats, and like once I kind of learnt that fundamental skill of marketing, I was like, damn, like this applies to everything. And I was like, you know, did the gyms, and I was like, it's funny, like me and my business partner, we still talk about it now. I was like, we were so fucking dumb. We were doing gyms in the most isolated city in the world with a staff life expectancy of 9 months. That's how long personal trainers do. You know, and it was just like, what?
Well, you still fucking smashed it though.
And that's like what I say to people now. It's like, it's saturated but not competitive because everyone's shit.
Everyone is shit.
Like, you know, there's just so many people that, like, you know, they get into the fitness industry, that's cool, but like, you know, they're not willing to do the work. Like, you know, I train at a couple of commercial gyms now. I'm like, damn, if these were my coaches, like, you're gonna be
totally different.
But like, you know, it's no judgment, and you know, everyone's just doing the best they can. But like, when you've experienced the best and worked with some of like the best guys, like, you know, we work with Clean Health, which is a group out of Sydney, and they were like unbelievable. In terms of their like just coaching and their way they did things, their system, the process, and their results. And then we're like, damn, like that's what we want our gym to be.
Yeah. So would you say that like one of the biggest things that you got from like your growth pattern was actually getting mentored for people who
100%. Like I like, again, all like the guys like I work with, and I'm still so forever grateful because you just learn these skills. And that's all it is. Like, I think if you got the skill like sales, you never go hungry. And then like if you can market, you'll never go hungry. And like if you can like operate and like lead, you'll never go hungry. So it's like if you just keep working on those 3 skills, like they're, you know, like you look at the big guys that, you know, getting money, like Gary Vaynerchuk, he's just like a leader and like a marketer. He's just a constant marketing. That's all he is. So like that's my big thing. It's just like you learn a couple of really good skills, and then you're fine, and then you can go apply it to like whatever discipline you want, whether it's healthcare, or whether it's drinks, or whether it's gyms, or whether it's cryotherapy or whatever, or apps or software. Like if you can, you know, create a good sales letter and you can connect with people and like write words that get emotions, then you're always going to be fine.
No, fair. Now, how was that first experience when you guys like were running that gym? Like, was there like a moment where it like hit you guys? You're like, fuck.
Like we still laugh about it now. Like we were literally 2 fucking kids. Like I was 20 years old. Like,
yeah, but that's the thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're 20, man.
Yeah,
you,
bro, like-
you got your own space, your own gym.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, man. Like,
Yeah, like literally like 20 years old, like running these gyms, and we just laugh. Like we're just like, you know, we just made it work. And like there's so many late nights. So, you know,
Yeah.
2 a.m. finishes, 5 a.m. starts, like over and over. And like that's with what I talk about with my mates. It's like, you know, I didn't really have an early 20s. I didn't do the uni thing and party and all that stuff. I was just working like a dog, like all the time.
Yeah.
So like, was there a defining moment? No, there was just like heaps. Like probably when like, so we got a bunch of custom made gear from Atlantis, which is like it's like the Ferrari of gym equipment. So like any good gym, it's got Atlantis gear. So it's like, you know, you guys familiar with gym stuff? Like, you know, Cybex?
Yes,
I think I've
sort
heard
of.
of
Yeah, so Cybex is kind of like the like mid tier, and they make Atlantis. So Atlantis like is like kind of the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
And like we got a like sea container worth of that stuff, and we're like, damn, like we made it. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
And this was like kind of October of 2014.
Damn, man. That climb, man. That's pretty impressive, man.
Yeah. Like, and it's like I look back on it now, like we went from like pretty much 0 to like 10K a week in like 4 months.
Yeah. Fuck. So when you were starting, there was no point where you doubted yourself.
No, never.
So-
Never. Right, and that's like I hold that. I'm like, I like people are like, oh, you're arrogant, you're cocky. I'm like, yeah, but like, I just like back myself. Like I'm not going to do something. I've got too much pride to let it fail.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like I'm not going to put myself in a position to fail. And I'm like, hard work. Like, you know, there's diminishing returns, but diminishing returns are still returns.
Yeah.
People may not understand like that feeling of winning. You know what I mean? So when they say that, like, oh, that's arrogant, but it may just be like you're just living on a different level that they can understand.
Yeah, 100%. Like they just don't have like, that's the thing. Like my wallpaper on my phone. Oh, if I can swipe up into that.
Winners, yeah.
It says winners win.
Facts.
And that's my wallpaper. And I'm like, that's my reminder. Every time I check it, it's like winners win. That's what winners do. So I'm like, that's kind of been my like motto going through anything. I was like, winners win.
Yeah.
You know, and so figure out how to win. Like, you know, the game, like, and that's the thing. The only way you lose the game of business is if you stop playing.
That's true.
So if you keep playing, you keep like you can't lose. Because the only way you can lose is if you stop playing. So if you don't stop playing, you can't lose.
Do you ever use things like manifestation, visualization, or the
Yeah,
models?
100%. So like I did a lot of work with a guy named Kerwin Ray.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so yeah. So like I've got
Tony Robbins essentially.
Yeah. Like I've got his like he helped us do our like Shark Tank pitch, and I've got his mobile number. Like I can call him.
Nice. You're on Shark Tank.
Yeah. I saw some Shark Tanks.
Yeah, holy shit, bro.
For the gyms.
Yeah.
TBC.
Yeah. It's pretty fucking funny.
Did you get investment?
No, we didn't. We were a bit arrogant, a bit cocky apparently.
But the Aussie one, those guys are fucking shitty. They're stingy sharks.
Yeah.
You watch the American one and the England one.
But the thing about like that is right, like, you know, the American Sharks, they've got like their businesses have 15 times more people to sell to.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's like, you know, if you've got 15 times more people, so like, you know, like that's the thing, like a 1 in a million thing happens 34 times in Tokyo. There's 34 million people there.
That's true. I've never thought of that perspective.
Yeah, so you know,
Holy shit. I like that.
You get hit by a car.
Yeah.
Whereas like, you know.
That blew my mind a little bit, eh?
Yeah.
I'm too shorted here in Perth, bro. I gotta get out of here. I gotta go to Hollywood Boulevard, bro.
Yeah.
Or China or something.
Yeah.
Do you think China really opened your mind when you were like, fuck, I'm selling hats at 17, making like
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, I was just young and wanted some cash. Like I literally just finished high school.
That's cool, man. What made your dad take you to China?
So he had a like industrial painting kind of company. So he like really good with chemistry. So I grew up in Port Hedland, which is a small country town. Yeah. So he used to paint like for BHP, like all of their like mining areas. So like if you can imagine, it gets like 50, 60 degree heat there. Yeah. So like the paint and iron ore and dust, like it just erodes shit. So he was really good with the chemistry, and he painted a lot of stuff, and like he did a lot of like line marking and surfaces. So, you know, on concrete surfaces, they have those things that spin around and like take off the surface.
Oh yeah.
So that, like we were looking for those machines because.
Did you go to the Canton Fair? Where it's like all these businesses are selling shit.
Yeah. We went to a fair.
I really want to go to those.
We definitely went to a fair where we had these little things. I just don't know if it was the Canton Fair, but it was the same kind of shit.
Massive.
There was just like literally imagine Optus Stadium just full of people showcasing shit.
That'd be gangster, man.
Yeah.
That'd be cool, man.
Yeah. So like, and that's the thing. Like I was very fortunate to see like what happens like in a family business. Mum and dad ran the family business, and he did some crazy shit where like he painted the Telfer pipeline, which is a pipeline in Telfer up north, and made like millions of dollars in a couple of months.
Yeah.
And then like he went kind of 2 years without any work, and we're like flat broke and like paying our lives on credit cards and nearly getting evicted from our house.
Where the millions go.
Yeah, literally, right? Tax and all the rest of it.
True.
What a fucking scam that is. Anyway.
Was it like 50% once you get to a certain point?
Yeah, it's wild. So like I kind of saw, I was very fortunate to see both sides of the equation. Like, you know, when you have money, and then when we're like literally broke, and like, you know, they're like shuffling credit cards and balance transfers and stuff like that. I was like, fuck, like that was when I was still
keep the money spinning, right?
You gotta keep the wheels spinning, right? So yeah, that's back to the thing, like, was there a moment, the gyms when the shit arrived, but it was like, it's like, you know, what, like Jimmy and I had this like running jokes, you know, like we had one gym and we thought we'd be happy, and we weren't, and then we'd have 2 gyms and then we thought we'd be happy, and we weren't. Well, maybe 3.
You're just hungry, motherfucker.
Winners win.
And then we thought we'd be happy, and then I was like 4, and we're like both like, are you happy? He's like, no. And then we got to 7, I was like, I can go train at one of my gyms every day of the week, and we're still fucking miserable. So it's it was quite funny. Like,
with 7 gyms, is that like a lot of headache you're dealing with staff and turnover and just bills and
like the bills were pretty wild. Like our fixed overhead with all like just the rents and overheads was like something like $400,000-500,000 a year before anything went out, like even more. And then but like the staffing, like the model was lean, so it was profitable. Like so like a couple of our gyms was spitting out $10,000 a week profit.
Oh damn, that's solid.
Yeah, off kind of like 4 or 5 staff, like but you know, one staff leaves and you lose 25% of your staffing. But they interact with 20-25% of all clients. So you lose 25% of your clients.
Oh shit, okay.
And like the cost per acquisition and the marketing and the time and blah 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 blah. And like, you know, we had a gym in O'Connor, and we had like these 2 superstar coaches, and they were like fucking unreal.
Ryan Fernando or not?
No, he was in Jandakot. He was a Jet as well. But like we had 2, and then like one left, and like 30 members left, the other left like another 30 and 40 members left, and this gym went from making $5,000 a week profit, 4 or 5 grand a week profit, to like fucking like scratching our head, like losing, like hemorrhaging cash.
Holy fucking shit.
So so it was like that was the challenge with those gyms, because like, you know, you look at like your F45s or like your group fitness, they don't do the nutrition, so they don't have the relationship with the coach. But ours was like nutrition and body scans and check-ins and Facebook groups and all this kind of stuff, and like they had their phone numbers and all this shit. So they had this really strong relationship with the coaches, and then the coach fucks off, and they're like,
they go along with
where's the relationship? So like again, it's all a big learning curve. And that's the way.
What's the key to keeping staff?
Their growth.
Their growth,
and like you know, and that was the thing. Like so, like a couple of our staff, they went and opened their own gyms. But if they had no aspirations,
it wouldn't be good.
Well, like, what do? They just want more money, and they see, like, if they're doing PT, right, like, you know, they're getting charged out at 90 and they get $30-35. Well, why don't I get the other 55? Well, they don't understand overheads and wages and super and GST and all this shit, because it's like, you know, it looks really good. You charge her out for 90, they get 35, so you're left with 55. But of that 90, pretty much $8.80 goes to $8 whatever goes to GST. And then of the 35, you've got another $3.50 of super. So now it's actually $38.50 of $80.
Yeah, so it's hard.
So
that's
like,
fair enough, because
they just don't see that, and it's like, it's again, the way I was always looked at it was always just an education problem from our front. We didn't tell them about that shit, and like that's always how I look at it as a leader. Is it's your fucking fault.
That's responsibility, right?
Self-responsibility.
So it was just like they didn't get that. We had so much other shit, and you know, they literally would rock up to work, they'd check the Facebook group, and they'd have 3 new clients, and their salary, their wages just increased by 20%. But like, you know, it was Facebook ads and like, you know, I ran 1,500 ad campaigns.
Oh fuck!
On Facebook, and spent $400,000 or $500,000 on ads.
A year?
No, total. For the gyms.
It's for the gyms, okay.
Like, so, you know, I was in there like testing it, like, again, like I do 30 to 40 different videos per campaign of me doing dumb shit, clapping, hanging off chin-up bars, throwing weights, doing a fucking twerk, like doing all this shit, like just to get attention, right?
To see whatever works.
Yeah.
What kind of worked the most when it comes to getting people's attention? What kind of stuff we're talking about?
Like just anything that stops the scroll, right? On Facebook, like if you look at it, like you're going on there, you're scrolling and you're like, oh fuck, what's this? So like the thing about Facebook, it's like kind of distraction marketing, so you need to stop the scroll.
Yes, it's kind of infinite scroll.
Yeah,
kind of
like so it's like, you know, you're seeing all this shit and you're like, like some dude twerking, like, and then you read and you're like, oh, actually, yeah, I want to go to the gym, and then you click and sign up. Whereas like on Google, they're like searching for it, so you need a really good offer.
Yeah.
So if someone's going like teeth whitening, it's like, cool, like free teeth whitening. Oh, fuck yeah, like sign me up. So it's all about the offer on Google. But like, again, if you have a good offer on Facebook, like, you know, you get the image and the headline, and then it's just about like the copy and them like buying into whatever it is.
Yeah. What did you find was the biggest difference between the Facebook ads and the Google ads?
We didn't run that many Google ads for the gyms. Like, it's only with the SEO stuff that we've started doing that. Yeah. But like the big thing on Facebook is you've got to have like a sick offer. So like we started, when we'd start, like we were doing like a free 6-week challenge where you sign up, you pay a deposit. If you lose 5 kilos in 6 weeks, you get your cash back.
Yeah.
And that's like,
how'd that go?
It went fucking well. Like
Did people get them cash back?
Yeah, but then you go, okay, cool, like you've lost 5 kilos, you need to lose 10, we'll sign you up for another 6 months and use that.
Oh, yeah.
So it's...
Sorry, man.
Well, like, so it was a good offer, but like that's the big thing. Like Facebook was just make sure it's a good offer.
Yeah.
And then that scaled, like, and people are still running it now, and like it's just like if your cost per lead, and then it just comes down to math, like cost per lead, your percentage, like that you sell, your like refund rate, blah 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 blah. Like what are your numbers, and if you can get those numbers to work, then you're golden.
Oh damn, yeah, because like when you're running Facebook ads, you got to be super specific about like target markets and all that kind of stuff. But how did you find, like, what did you find was the biggest selling point when you're selling just to Perth? Because I'm assuming that would have been like the area, right?
Honestly, just the offer. And like
really?
Yeah, like that's the thing, like a good offer, like that's all you need. Like if you have one good offer, it's like a grand slam. Like you don't need all these other shitty offers. That's what I think most businesses do wrong. They try to appeal to everyone, and they just suck. So you have like one good offer. So like for the cryotherapy, we had a $49 facial.
Yeah.
And we ran it. It's still running for 5 years. New to Perth.
Damn.
New this summer. Like it's the same offer because, you know, like women generally pay facials $200-300. These were $49 facial. Well, fuck yeah! Like I'll just try it and come see it out.
Yeah.
You know, like, and we'd get 70 to 80 new clients a week.
Damn. What's the importance of like finding that niche, and how narrow do you want your niche to be?
So I really think it just depends on like what you're offering.
Yeah.
And you know, like the narrower you go, the more you can charge. So like, let's go. You know, you understand maths.
Yeah.
So you can be a checkout person, and you go to accounting. No, you're accountant, then you get your CPA, and then you go like tax accounting, and then you go like business accounting for like big enterprises,
okay.
and then you go offshore accounting, and then you go kind of international law accounting, and then you go accounting for Russian oligarchs hiding billions of dollars.
Damn. Okay. Fair. I've never thought about it like that.
Yeah. So you go like checkout dude, Russian oligarchs cleaning money. Obviously, your fee is going to be a lot more.
Well,
You're just counting debits and credits. But like, if you can go to this level, you only need 3 clients, and you know, if you do one fucking oligarchs counting billions of dollars.
Yeah. No, that's true.
So that's kind of, I think, that's where people get stuck, right? They just don't know their offer or what they're actually doing.
Yeah.
They're not that fucking good at it, and so it's shit.
Yeah.
And then you don't get raving testimonies. You don't really get a result, and you're just stuck with mediocrity.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
What advice would you give to someone who's sort of stuck in mediocrity to get out of that bubble? You know what I mean?
Get better.
Get better?
Just get better. And like pay to get better. Pay someone to get better. Pay a coach or a mentor and stuff like that. And like, you know.
Who are some of the best business coaches you've worked with that you'd recommend, or like?
Yeah, I'd say like they all had their different kind of parts. So I worked with like a guy named Travis Jones. He started RBT, results-based training. So he really helped us with the gyms and operations and like just growing these business and team and leadership. So he was really cool. And then we worked with Kerr and Ray, and his was all about mindset. And he was always like, your business problems are personal problems that haven't been kind of worked out. And like we did manifestation and power to create and meditation and journaling, and like, you know, I read 100 books in a year. I'd read 2 books a year.
Wow.
Like, and then that was that. And then we worked with this guy named Mitch Sanders, and he had like a hosting company. He went from like homeless to a hosting company that he sold for like $25 million or something crazy.
Damn.
And he was all like, this is how you systemize a process. Like, open the Google Drive, click this document, put your name in this cell, put your email in this cell, put your fucking birthday, like literally, you know, you could hand it to anyone. Which was really cool. And then we worked with a guy named Alex Hormozy who just focused on gyms, and his story is fucking crazy. He went like, he had 6 gyms, got rolled by his business partner, and then he started like this coaching business for gyms, and it like he did like $20-30 million in his second or third year.
Damn.
Like, it was fucking unbelievable. And he was the one who taught us about the 6-week challenge stuff, and like how to actually run ads and offers, and like anything. Like, if you can put $1 into Facebook and get $1.01 back at scale, you're a billionaire. And like, people just don't get that. Like, if you can put $1 in, get $1.01 back, and that keeps going, you're 1 cent, it compounds.
Oh, yeah, no, that's true. Yeah.
Like, so coaching and mentorship is like number one.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Or just shortcuts, like all the stupid shit you're gonna do.
True.
Yeah.
And like, I thrive off like pressure.
You do?
So yeah,
Love it.
we had these groups, and like, you know, Jimmy and I were like, yeah, let's be number one. And so we would like, just push it. You know, we pushed our gym out like, from fucking 0 to 10K a week in like from March to August, which was wild.
Yeah.
That's 2 kids.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
How essential would you say the element of you like reading and increasing your knowledge base assisted you in your journey?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I think the big thing about that is like, because I was doing this shit, right, you get a lot of people that just talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like I was dealing with staff, and then I'd read a book on like HR and staffing and leadership and growing people. And I'm like, this coach doesn't feel like they've got growth. Or like, you know, like I read the book 5 Love Languages. And it's like words of affirmation, physical touch, like gifts, acts of service, whatever. And you're like, so that's their love language. So, you know, some coaches, you'd buy them a pair of Nikes, and then other coaches, you'd go, well done, like I'm so proud of what you've done with this person. And that would light up their world. And like, you know, just the learning and being able to apply it was so good. 'Cause, you know, most people read a book and like,
totally, it becomes a mental masturbation.
Yeah, and it's like, 100%.
Yeah.
So, you know, you read 10 books, and that's all you really fucking need. And that's the trap I got into, more.
Yeah.
But, you know, I was reading all these books from the best people in the world, and I wasn't applying fuck all. So I just keep reading, and hoping the next book would solve my problem. But then, you know, new problems. So it was just like a bunch of books that I just studied, like highlighted notes and typed them out. And I was like, fuck, that's what I needed.
Oh, okay. So you actually like have to be involved in the process. Yeah.
Creating acronyms on like all the different things, and like growth factors, and like what are these things, and like learning like, you know, laws of influence, like by Robert Cialdini.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's LSCAR. So it's liking, social proof, consistency, authority, reciprocity, and scarcity. They're the 6 laws of influence.
Good memory, man.
Okay, yeah.
So like LSCARs. So it's like LSCARs, and that's like what I remember.
Yeah.
So it's like
you created acronyms to remember this stuff and write them down and stuff like that. Really get into it. Okay,
and then
cool.
so you like, now you like look at something, and you know, like all the shit that's going on now, it's just like people with authority.
Yeah.
They're just like, they just believe people in authority, and I think you know,
it's conditioning.
Most dangerous superstition is authority.
Damn, that's facts. That was Robert Greene, right?
No, it was Robert Cialdini.
Oh, okay.
So he does persuasion and influence.
Oh, okay. What would you say is like the one book that you would recommend anyone to read?
Psycho-Cybernetics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've heard of that. So I can't write that.
I haven't heard about that.
Yeah, so it's all like about like the self-image and like belief and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's like game-changing. So he was a plastic surgeon that used to perform plastic surgery, but then like, you know, his patients would come out and they'd be like, I want my nose like this and this, and then he started like actually just kind of going through their mental and like what they believe for themselves, and they thought they weren't good enough or pretty enough or blah blah blah, and that's why they did all this. So, it's like probably the biggest game changer. That's like kind of number one for me. Like for everyone, like that anyone that reads that book will benefit.
Okay, Psycho-Cybernetics.
Yeah, Psycho-Cybernetics.
Okay, I remember that.
Yeah, that's a cracker.
Okay, so what made you decide to sell these gyms and move on from this?
Yeah, I think like the big thing was like like LA, and then like going overseas and like being in like these kind of high bustling environments. Like I just knew there was more. Like, you know, like we got to 7 and we had about 35 staff, and there was business partner problems and staff problems and client problems, and I was like, for all this work, like the money just wasn't there. And like, you know, it was like we're helping 700-800 people a week, which was awesome. But I was like, to keep growing this, it's either franchises, which like F45, and I knew people that owned F45, and it just goes to shit. And like, you know, I'd walk into some of the gyms, I'd see like the training going on, I'm like, this fucking sucks. This isn't TBC.
Yeah.
F45.
No, my gyms.
Oh, your gyms.
Yeah.
My gyms. Yeah, I'd walk into my gyms, and I'm like, this is shit.
Because you lose control.
So,
Yeah, and like I was like, this is not what TBC is about. Like, we're strength training, and you're seeing like people doing fucking burpees and box jumps. I was like, this isn't what our gyms are.
Yeah.
And like our model just didn't scale because, like, you know, you got group training, but then you have strength training, and then you have strength training done right, and not many people could do that.
Very true.
So, and I was just like, and then, you know, I'd go overseas and I'd be like, damn, there's like just so much more to life than, again, gyms in the most isolated city in the world with personal trainers that don't, like, you know, they've got the same, like, career expectancy as real estate, not even real estate agents. Like, people just, it's just like such a come and go industry with split shifts and partners. And, you know, like I was single for the whole time because it's very hard to tell a girl, hey, I'm leaving the house at 5 a.m, I'm going to be back at 11, you're at work, and I'm going to get at 3 p.m, I'll be back at 8:30.
Oh, okay, yeah.
For 6 years in a row.
Yeah. That's right,
Yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of, that was like the big thing, and I was just like, in consulting and working, I was like, you make as much money with less overheads, less stress, and at scale is way better.
Nice. Yeah. How did you like end up getting into crypto? Because if you said you were consulting for a crypto firm?
So like my first kind of crypto was 2016, 2017.
Damn, that was a fucking while ago.
Yeah. So like I kind of, my like kind of first time I came across Bitcoin was my mate was buying pingers off Silk Road.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, and he was like, man, like, we should buy some more Bitcoin. It's like at 1,000.
Yeah.
Like I've got a Facebook message from my mate from May of 2016.
You're like, nah.
And I was like, I'll get some. So yeah, I kind of first bought Bitcoin about 8,000. And then 2017, we just had cash. We'd put like 20 grand into an ICO, and it'd turn into 90 in a day. We'd sell out, and then we'd buy this. And then again, me and my risk taking, I took a fucking $25,000 personal loan at 22% interest.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, put it all into crypto. Like it fucking 5-bagged, paid off the loan, had 80 grand.
5-bag, beautiful.
You know,
What coin was that?
Oh, like I bought like Ethereum at like $60, $70.
Fuck me. What a
Another real estate, one of my mates is like, hey, look, we should buy some Bitcoin. At the time, I was like a history buff. I was like, nah, if you want a currency, you need a military. They don't have one, so they're going to crash. And then I feel like a fucking dickhead. This is like the end of 2015.
Yeah. Right. It's
No, I know, man.
Yeah, that door, bro. What the same thing did.
Yeah, no. So I think like my mum's always been just so open and just like do whatever you want. So I've got I'm very, I don't know. Like I won't believe everything, but I'll investigate and kind of just check things out. And just suss it and play it live. Crypto, and like we were just like looking at this crypto, personal loans, and we just fucking like all in, and like you put like we're on like the Bitcoin Cash fork and like all this kind of shit, like been there from like the start. Like my CoinSpot. My CoinSpot referral code's 109. So I was the 109th member of CoinSpot.
That's fucking early.
Dude, and they've got 2 million users now.
Damn.
So yeah, that's kind of how early we were, like in CoinSpot.
How do you choose which coins to invest in now?
So now, mine's like, I'm kind of, part of me is like the long-term tech, but the other part of me is like YOLO shitcoins.
Yeah.
Like Doge?
No, so again, when I bought Doge, it was 0.0003.
Fuck.
Yeah, and then I bought it again in January of this year, and like me and my fucking housemate were like trading it, and then we like paper handed out at like fucking 9 cents. And like, and then so I bought Doge. So like I'd buy like kind of the top 30. Like I kind of just looked around at that and like
popular coins.
Like they're always going to be there, right? So and then like kind of I got like last year sold all the gyms, went supposed to go traveling, and then had to come back to Perth, and I was just like I dug some fucking deep rabbit holes.
Yeah.
Like the deepest, the Cabals, the fucking Clintons, the Rothschild. I went deep into all of that shit.
I've been there.
Yeah.
I believe it all.
Yeah.
I went fucking fiat and the fucking what's that book? Where the island where they started the Federal Reserve. The Creature of Jekyll Island.
Creature of Jekyll Island.
Yeah, the Creature of Jekyll Island. It was all a bunch of bankers. They went off to an island to say, we need the Federal Reserve, and that's where it all
talks about.
What's fucked, man? When the Federal Reserve came out, tax in America came out at the exact same time, within 2 years.
Yeah.
Before that, you didn't even need tax.
Yeah, because
biggest con in history.
That's again, I can speak for days for this shit. I'm big taxation is theft. If any other institution,
Bro, it's actually illegal.
Is it? Yeah.
It's not. Tax is not legal.
So page, I think it's 16 of the ATO is you will voluntarily declare what you earn. So if you don't declare, that's fine.
Yeah, but right now they're a private corporation masquerading as a government entity.
Yeah,
and they just have a military to back them essentially, which is the police and the law system. But
scam.
100% scam. But I watched a podcast. I can't remember what the guy's name. You sent it to me about. He's talking about fiat currency and saying that you're losing 15%.
Every fiat currency in the history. Every fiat currency in the history of the world has gone to zero. Just a matter of time.
So what do you think the future of business is now?
Really just depends on what happens in the next 12 to 18 months.
Oh, that's a
what are you leaning towards as far as...
Well, there's... if you look, you go, it's all going to go back to normal, but...
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. But in a kind of a utopia, you have businesses, you have a gym that wants to raise money. They will, instead of raising funds, paying 6% to brokers, doing other shit, they'll have a tokenized ownership of their business in NFTs with voting rights.
Yeah.
That have if all the money goes into say USD Tether, it can't be spent no more than X in smart, and it's just all smart contracts that are worked on blockchains that go, okay, cool. Brett, you've got voting rights for this, Ryan, you've got voting rights for this, blah, 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 blah. It'll be tokenized fundraising and tokenized operations, blah, 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 blah. So that's an NFT thing. The other is China, social credit scores, and we're all just fucked.
That's cool too.
It's got to be.
It's a very shaky.
It's got to be one of those. So, and I think it gives me quite a cynical outlook on life. Cause I'm it's all fucked. This is all just a big fucking scam.
With China, it feels like China just literally bought Australia.
They're
slowly turning into China.
You look at that oil belt through Melbourne and the smart cities and the bushfires that got apparently not
build those railway lines and stuff like that. Yeah, it gets pretty deep, eh?
Yeah. So again, if you look at those things and you can go, I became a skeptic of everything from the fitness industry because I had one fuckwit telling me carbs are bad and one fuckwit telling me carbs are good. And I paid these blokes plenty of cash. And I'm well, you're both the best in the world. You're both strength coaches and training Olympic athletes. And you're telling me these two opposite things.
Yeah.
And
I get it with paleo and vegan.
Yeah.
And they both have peer-reviewed studies to prove that they're correct.
Yeah, but peer-reviewed are just paid for people.
Or paid off scientists.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree that science is like the new religion, to be honest.
Yeah.
But when they both have evidence, and they both have convincing arguments, and they both have success stories, it's how the fuck are they both correct?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I think the truth always lies somewhere in the middle.
That's true.
Yeah.
Still love a good steak.
Yeah, 100%. There's a war on meat. The soy boys, they're coming.
Or Bill Gates finding all the farmland.
Yeah.
But that Beyond Meat burger is actually a load of shit.
Oh, that's
It's the cheapest shit is vegetable oils, canola oil, and soy and pesticide-ridden garbage.
Yeah, it's dog food.
Not even dog. I wouldn't feed it to my dog.
Yeah, it's trash.
But when it comes to crypto, right?
Yep.
All the different coins.
Yep.
Eventually, it's going to be used as some kind of currency. How will it be sorted out that some coins make it, some coins don't?
The same with the ATO, not the ATO, the stock exchange. You get rug pulls. Yeah, exactly. Free market capitalism. Supply and demand, really. You go, you've got your Moneros, your pirate coins, your Wowneros, these private coins, because violence is always going to be a thing.
Violence?
Yeah, violence is always going to be a thing.
How will you steal someone's cryptocurrency?
That's gunpoint. If they don't have ring signature and stuff like that, then they send them off to a wallet that can't be tracked, and that's the things like Monero and stuff like that. So you always can look at
So Monero can't be tracked.
You can track it. Again, the IRS put a $500,000 bounty for someone to crack out the Monero code, and it still hasn't been solved.
Oh, wow.
So like it's private, so I can see you transferring to me, you can see me, but no one else can see.
That's pretty cool. That's what all the
that's
DJs
crazy.
DJs use it.
Yeah, so like that's Monero, and then you've got something like Pirate Chain, which is even more secure. So
Really? Pirate Chain?
Yeah, Pirate Chain. It's
Pirate
called R, ARRR, like R. It's pretty,
That's actually pretty gangster.
yeah, pretty gangster. Yeah. So
yeah.
I've got that kind of like, I'm not like an overall fanatic, because like at this point now, like I think anyone under 5 million like net worth just needs to gather as much capital as they can, because once you get to there, like once you got 5 million, you give it to any punk and they can make you 8%. That's 400k a year.
Yeah.
And you can't go back.
$1,000. That's my next goal.
Yeah, well, you can't really go backwards.
That's
if
true,
you,
yeah.
Like if you've got 400k a year to blow. Like, you know, most ASX stocks 6 to 8% dividends. Like you can't go backwards. So you got 5 million cash tax free. Broker, wealth manager, crypto dude, just make me 8%. You got not 10 grand a month, but pretty close to 10 grand a month.
Yeah.
To like, not 10 grand a week, sorry, to blow on shit. Like, I mean, unless you're like, again, kids and families and whatever, but like,
even then, it's still pretty hard.
yeah,
10K.
yeah, exactly, because it's all tax free as well, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like, you know, 10 grand a week in your pocket. So that's kind of what I think. I'm like, you got to get to 5 mil, and then you can now choose a life that you actually want to live.
Yeah.
So like crypto or whatever. So, but that's the thing, right? Like, I think crypto is the like biggest wealth like grab opportunity for people that understand it in the history of the world, because you've got like boomers that just don't want to get into it. They want their housing, their property, and their stocks. And you've got some punk swapping like tits coins for cum rockets on poo coin and making 700x. Yeah, like
the amount of money.
Yeah, like you see that bloke, he put 8 grand into Shiba and it turned into 5 billion.
Yeah, it's fucking
I'm kicking
wild,
myself.
bro.
I remember when I bought Dodge, I think about
We bought it on the same
almost
day.
a year, right?
Yeah.
I was going to buy Shiba Inu at the same time. And I was like, nah, Dodge is the one.
Yeah.
And I was like, you fuckhead. Like, Shiba just like...
But then again, you just thought it was just another shit coin,
Yeah.
man. Like,
Yeah.
you just
Oh,
would
they're
have
everywhere.
never known, bro.
I love a rug pull. Like
Yeah.
I've been rug pulled that many times. I've got fucking Doge Pug and Space Pug and I've got 7 trillion coins that I bought
Right.
for $1,000 or something. I'm just like, now market value is like $1.30.
Like it's the Squid Game coin.
That was funny, man.
Yeah.
That was crazy. Did you see the video?
Yeah, I
Of the
did,
guy trading? Yeah.
It was wild, bro. It
I'll
was
ask you,
straight
man.
down.
What are your top coins at the moment? Like top 10 that you would recommend that this is like... some
Yeah,
fucking
okay, so like
100x.
Yeah, no, so I like in terms of
100x.
yeah, in terms of 100. So like you look at like layer ones, so they're like your Ethereum. So again, I was fortunate. I put 20 grand into Ethereum at $200. So I've got 85 Ethereum.
That's pretty
fuck.
solid.
Okay.
Yeah. So I like, you know, is Ethereum going to 30x from here? Probably
yeah,
not.
that's it, yeah.
Like, you know, the market cap's got to go 30 times 4. That's 1.4 trillion. I think it's at 400 billion times
That's a
30.
nice stable investment.
Yeah.
Ethereum.
Yeah. Like, so Ethereum's going to grow,
The
but
gas fees are fucking terrible,
yeah,
man.
like, but the thing, like, this is the part that people that haven't, you know, you look at like BlackRock, Vanguard, all those monster hedge funds, they manage kind of $100 trillion. So let's just say $100 trillion, and you know they have a mandate of 2% into crypto. That's $2 trillion that's going to flow into the top 20.
Yeah. But
so
aren't they
stable.
like trying to say that the projected future market cap for the cryptocurrency industry is going to be like 200 trillion?
Yeah. So that's 100x from now.
Yeah.
But you know, they're not every coin's going to ride that.
Yeah.
And like, but the thing about those future projections is the money printer goes brrr, and then how much money they're going to print.
Yeah.
So
No
and
one
that's
knows, bro.
again the probably the most life-changing thing I ever learned, that nothing goes up in value, just the amount of money in circulation goes up.
Yeah.
Because an ounce of gold has always bought a suit. So back in like the Roman days, an ounce of gold will buy you a nice suit as a Roman.
Yeah.
And then 19 whatever, it was like $20 for an ounce of gold, that bought you a suit. Now gold's 2,600, 2,500, and that'll buy you a nice suit.
Ah,
So-
very good. I never thought about that.
Yeah, so like that's the thing, like people don't understand that. And people are, inflation is necessary. No, it's fucking not. Inflation is just the rich taking money, because they own the assets, taking money from the poor and stealing your wealth.
I think for me, one of the most important thing was understanding inflation. Like understanding inflation changes everything.
Yeah.
Changes everything. If you're realizing that like you could have like 10K in your bank account, but in 10 years you're not going to be able to buy the same amount of.
Yeah. The goods and
items,
services.
yeah, the 10K.
Literally, right? So, and that's like, that's where I'm very fortunate. Like, I learned about business, I learned about sales and marketing and money and capital and like assets and inflation, and you're like, it all kind of comes together. Like, you go shopping and they're like I buy the same 20 foods, like chicken, rice, meat, potatoes, apples, and I'm like, my apples went from $3.99 a kilo to $6.99. Well, that's double.
Oh fuck! Okay, yeah.
But like, it's $3. It's $3 a kilo. Like, fuck.
But it's still double.
It's double.
Yeah.
So like, when your income's fixed and the shit's gone up, your purchasing power's gone down.
It's technically you're going poorer.
Yeah. You are. Yeah. So, back to the crypto thing.
Yeah, altcoins.
Yeah. So, I'm talking 100x. Yeah. So I look at like layer one. So like Polygon, Phantom, Avalanche, Cardano, shit like that. They're layer one. So they're like Ethereum, that they're always going to be used, just even if it's for gas fees.
I got some Cardano, but not the rest.
Yeah. So
Polygon.
Polygon Matic, that's a bridge from Ethereum, so you can bridge it across and then use it. So, you look at like the use case, they're all like operating systems. So they're like your iOS, your Android, shit like that.
Yeah.
And then everything else is built on top. So like Aave, which is like the first DeFi thing. It was ETHLend initially, and then it got rebranded to Aave. Aave is on Ethereum, but like to transact in Aave, you need Ethereum. So that's just that need for Ethereum and shit like that.
It'll always be there.
Yeah, so you like look at all these like blockchains. So there's like Mina, and there's like all these different blockchains, and they're the actual chains that you kind of build on. And then you've got like your level 2s, and these are like apps. So an app that runs on Ethereum or like anything, you're on PancakeSwap or SushiSwap or whatever. They're like the second tier of projects that are running on the blockchain. And then and now you're just going into like, are you going to be like into gaming cryptos, and you think like gaming cryptos, and like, a couple of guys that I follow, like, doesn't really matter what's going on in the world. People are going to play video games. Like video games is number one sport in the world. The most viewed sport. So, okay, like you look into gaming cryptos.
Like Engine, Ultra.
All that kind of shit, Alluvium, all that kind of stuff. Okay, cool, there's going to be a need for them, and play to earns, and you got Axie Infinity and shit like that.
What are your thoughts on H-Bar?
H-Bar, don't know about it.
Yeah.
I haven't really looked into it.
Yeah.
That's the thing, like, it's like, and that's the funny thing about crypto, right? Like, people are like, what do you think? I have no fucking idea. I thought you knew about crypto, but like, okay, tell me about every company on the ASX.
Facts.
Facts.
That's very true. It's
just like if you get good at like understanding them. And like again, my Ethereum thing was luck. Like I put 20 or so grand in there. I was like, fuck it. Ethereum's been there. My kind of thing was I bought it kind of $200, hoping to get back to 1,000 because that would be worth 100 grand.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. The biggest mistake I ever made was I think I put $600 or $700, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna put $20 in there. This was like in 2017, and then it like stagnated for like a year. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna take it out. I had like $2 grand in there, and I took it out. Now I look at it, I'm like, fuck, I want to slap myself. I just left it. It's but see, that's the thing though. I've always thought about it, like, even though this is the point we are right now, it's still like what 2-3% of the world who is still seeing this or in this market.
Yeah, but it's like again, most of my mates don't invest in it. Like the idea of investing for them is like just no idea. So you hang out with people in crypto, you think crypto's like everyone's doing it, but it's like my sister, she's a lawyer, she got and she doesn't do crypto. So you're like, it's still so early, and like again, I'm always like, what's the good out of COVID? Like COVID, everyone knows what a QR code is now.
Yeah.
And that's like how you can send payments in crypto and transact and make it a currency and blah, 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 blah. So it's still so early, and like the big guys are still like, once the like super funds and the hedge funds and all that kind of shit start playing, that's when shit's like the top 20 is going to go bonkers.
Yeah. I think it was Ray Dalio who just dabbled in a little bit. And I think like someone like Ray Dalio saying, all right, like I've started putting money in Bitcoin, everyone's going to be like, what the fuck? Because it's 100%. Such a huge name in that.
There's 21 million Bitcoin and there's 44 million millionaires in the USA.
Oh, damn, okay.
So just on that, like, not every millionaire can own a whole Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's true. But what's his name? Who's the guy? a Michael Sayer owned like fucking
Yeah, exactly.
20 something thousand.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that?
So like that's kind of what I'm saying, right? Like not every millionaire in the US can own a Bitcoin. So if you own a Bitcoin now, like eventually you'll be one of the wealthiest people in the world.
Fuck. Do you think there's ever potential that something will ever take over Bitcoin? Or
No.
Okay.
Not now.
But Ethereum has more utility than Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, but like gold has fuck all utility. Look how long it's been around for.
Yeah, true.
That's true. Yeah.
But like again, that's what like it's free market capitalism, right? What will the market pay for it?
Yeah, that is true.
So I look at those things as like, okay, cool. You've got like these like main kind of cryptos, and then you've got like the things that are doing shit and they're changing the world, and then you've got like stuff like Monero that's like fucking awesome, and it's just got nothing. So like the utility and all that kind of stuff, like I don't know. I think there's still a couple of cycles. Actually, okay, cool. What does this crypto do, and how can it work, and stuff like that. But you know, like something like Nexo, like I've got Nexo, and like Nexo pays you like 12% for holding crypto on an account. So,
oh damn!
Yeah, so even if you hold USD, you get 12%. So you have $100,000 in there, they pay you $12,000 a year interest.
I'm going into Nexo.
Yeah. I'll send you my referral link.
Please.
Yeah. So
That's fucking dope.
yeah, like so. Yeah, I think like again, crypto. Like I just find it so fascinating, and it's just so liberating, right? Like I believe that everyone should be able to transact with whoever they want, with whatever they want, as long as they don't hurt people. So as long as there's no violence involved. Which is like true anarchism, right? Like true anarchy is you and I can transact. If we don't hurt anyone and we don't put anyone else in danger, it's fine.
Yeah.
And as soon as we start putting people in danger, then that's obviously not fine. So if you've got like two things, you know, and that's like, again, a black market is a free market because it is supply and demand. What people will pay for the good or service.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
So that's how I look at it, right? Like, you know, there's the black market, it's just what people will pay for it.
Well, they're just using it to transact anyway.
Yeah, they're just transacting. Yeah. So I think like crypto's got such like it's so fascinating and it's such a cool time to be alive.
Yeah.
Like where all this stuff's going to be in 50 years, like smart contracts and DeFi banking and shit like that. Like, you know, so many people in El Salvador now, like, you know, they're unbanked, but they can use crypto through a wallet on their phone, which is fucking cool.
Crazy, yeah. That's amazing.
It's like mobile phones are just like they bypass like the landline in certain
it's liberating.
countries.
Yeah. I think the one of the first instances of like mobile banking was in Kenya. It's called M-Pesa. This happened, I think, but when was I there? It was in 2012. 2012, but it had already been there like 2 or 3 years. So like it was you go buy credit on your on a local shop, you store like M-Pesa credit, but you can just pretty much send it instantly, and you can go buy shit with it. And like I think that was a couple of years later, and I started thinking about it. I was like, holy fucking shit, that is a digital banking system, and nowhere else in the world was that there, other than Kenya. But they were holding it for such a long time. I'm thinking like, how comes it wasn't implemented anywhere else in the world? It's so quick that I could send $50 to my grandma right now, and it'll be there in less than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But like you can't do that with just a normal bank transfer. No. With that bank transfer is gonna take you what? 24, 48 hours?
Yeah.
36 business days, something like that.
Yeah. How ridiculous is that? It's
all fees.
It's all fees, man.
Yeah, when like again, if you understand how like banking works and fractional reserve banking and how they make money on the overnight market and it's interbank lending and all that kind of shit, that's why they're so against OSCO. Because OSCO's instant, right? But they can't make any money off it because it's like my bank's your cake.
True.
And that's why, like, you know, so many banks, like, not so many banks, but even like HSBC hasn't rolled out OSCO because they wanted to go international money markets and, you know, it's Hong Kong, Singapore, Hong Kong, Singapore Bank Corporation or whatever. Like, it's over in China and, you know, they want to make money on the interest and you clip 0.001% of $100 billion, it's $10 million.
Yeah, damn, that's crazy.
So, like, and that's the thing, it's great when you understand it, but then you're like, that's why everything's so fucked. Yeah, it's just money and power and control.
Yeah. It's interesting, especially the time that we're in right now. I think a lot of people are just realizing, like, how fucked it is, like, you know, how fucked up we are, like, especially I think, for me, it was more like when you realize, when you start like learning a little bit about the financial system and just basically everything that's going on, and you start going into those rabbit holes. Yeah. And then it's just kind of like it's just a power play, man. Yeah. It is literally just a motherfucking power play.
Big slave planet.
Yeah, it's a big slave planet. Yeah.
Hey, where do you learn about all this stuff about federal banking and
YouTube and reading?
YouTube reading.
Yeah. Just like lots of podcasts and stuff like that. Like,
I gotta dig a little bit deeper.
Yeah, like I think, like just understanding it. It's like, you know, when they first started like the banking in like lending out interest, then the people were in debt to the bankers for life. So if I have $100 and I put it in the bank and then they loan it out, or like it gets loaned out plus the interest, so now there's $105 in circulation, there's only $100. So from that day forward, society is in debt.
You can't pay it back. Like, yeah.
Oh, facts.
Everyone paid back all the money that was in debt.
Yeah. So that was like, kind of reading about the history of money and the history of credit cards and all that kind of shit. It's like,
okay.
So,
fuck, this is a lose-lose game.
Yeah.
How do you think they'll ever like get to a point that they try and tax crypto?
Oh, it's coming. It's coming.
Well, aren't they already doing it? Like, if you put money back into your account.
Yeah. So all of the exchanges, they obviously have your data and shit like that.
Yeah.
So they'll send off your data to the tax authorities and all that kind of shit. So that's how they'll tax it. That's the beauty about Pancake Swap and Uniswap and Sushi Swap and all those swapping things. You can if you can get USD Tether or something from a thing where you don't have KYC, you swap it and trade it and whatever, right? Then there's no, it's very hard to track on that. But then again, everything's blockchain, and again, the beauty of the blockchain you can see. So that's where atomic swaps on Monero, you can swap Bitcoin to Monero and shit like that. That's going to be game changing. They're going to be able to track it. So again, they're coming for it. They want it. That's government.
Can we do that now? Can we trade Bitcoin to Monero? Or is that not?
Yeah, you can trade Bitcoin to Monero. So you just need an exchange that doesn't have KYC. So, and again, it's the whole tax argument. I see both sides of it, but I'm it's just
we can get rid of the Federal Reserve, and we wouldn't need to have tax in the Federal
Reserve.
The government would have their own money.
Well, look at them, all this printing and all this helping out and shit now. And it's inflated everything and currency in circulation. What is it, 20% of all US dollars or something crazy like that were printed in the last 12 months.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. But even America for 150 years had no tax. They had roads, schools, hospitals, everything was, they were doing fine. In the 1800s. They were doing all right. Honestly, man.
Yeah, but I think there was one of the biggest arguments.
About this. That's what I got.
Oh, really?
JFK was he did a speech talking about secret societies and the plan to enslave the people and that sort of stuff, and he was trying to expose this stuff, and he got one bullet to the head.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I think one of the arguments about taxes, they say that it's meant to help other people and people who are less fortunate, and which I totally understand. But there's actually studies that show when people have more money and they have more income, they're more egalitarian. So they give more, and if people set up charities, blah blah blah, they're much more likely to give more out of their pockets. And whereas in comparison to when you have such a high tax rate, they have less in their pockets. So
that's true.
They give less.
Yeah, definitely. Well, anywhere there's foreign aid, it fucks everything because it distorts prices, and same with minimum wages and stuff like that. It distorts capitalism, and it's when you don't have a free market, nothing works. Because you're incentivized to go to this. That's why Tesla's still around, because they're getting all these government kickbacks and all that kind of shit, right?
Yeah.
So it's when you don't have a free market economy running, then you just get people that move to, we're unprofitable doing this. Let's go where we can get a kickback from the government and subsidize this, and then subsidies, and it artificially raises prices and profits, and then that's just again, demand and supply curves.
Yeah. So do you believe let's say we're at an economic crash, those companies that are incapable of holding themselves should pretty much crash.
Yeah, 100%. Well, it's just inefficient use of capital and resources.
Yeah.
Because an efficient business would allocate resources properly.
Yeah.
Through all the factors, and if it's inefficient capital allocation, they deserve to crash.
Yeah, true. Because
it's the jobs they're creating are inefficient. So you dig deeper. Well, the people they're not creating enterprise value, and they're not creating value within the company. And then if they're not creating value, then people aren't getting more goods and services. So there's less GDP and there's less prosperity. So that company's no good. But it's the fact that they can get bailed out and too big to fail. It just fucks everything up.
Yeah. So some of them become ghost companies, I guess. Yeah,
definitely.
That's interesting. Yeah.
What a mess. So where are your next moves from here, man?
Next moves from here, is I'm super interested in the crypto stuff, and they're kind of consulting, just really honing in on growing a company and making it explode, through ads, through marketing, through automations, through hiring, through good hires, good capital allocation, taking things that are wasting their money and scaling them. And that's where I think because I've done it, I understand it, and just applying those business principles there is kind of what like I'm really interested in. Like go work with a couple of companies and just scale them up and take a good retainer, take a profit share, and then take some equity, and then hopefully get them to list.
Beautiful.
So that's kind of what I think, like, you know, I look at my genius and it's like, I'm great at copywriting, I'm great at sales, great at marketing, and then like putting that together into business growth, like tangible free cash flows over the next 5 years. It's like, cool, come work with you. If I, like, that's the thing, like when we talk about like marketing and funnels, we'll get real nerdy. Like if everything stays the same and I increase your opt-in rate from 5% to 8%, that changes the game. Like just fixing your funnel.
Yeah.
Like nothing else changes. All your ads are the same. Everything's changed. But the landing page, so we get, you know, instead of out of 100 people, we get 5 leads. We get 8 leads. Now your salespeople have 8 leads to work with. Hopefully, like, you know, they close one more sale. And then from everything of that, like if you've got a good ticket price, you've got another 30, 40, 50, $100,000 in new revenue.
Yeah.
So like, and that's where understanding how like cost per 1,000 impressions, opt-in rates, like refund rates, sale rates, gross contribution to sale, the marketing costs, the things, the commission that you pay the salespeople, the return rate, the like re-sign rate, all these things on any like package. If you can just move one number, 0.5% or 1% on a $1 billion company, you can move their sales 20, 50, 100 million, like just from one number. Yeah. So that's what I think. I'm like, I used to have like a bunch of clients I consult with, and like you try and do all these things, and you know they're paying you a couple of grand a month, but it's just like there's not the, like, you're not paying me enough to invest all in. Like,
100%.
So if then I'm like, well, I'm just going to help you, got to sort it out yourself, and you know these business owners generally can't sort it out. So I'm like, well, if you can't sort it out, then I'll keep going through the motions. Where it's like, hey, we're gonna do this. Come as like a growth exec, scale it up. Change this sales, let us change how everything gets done, then you're going to see a massive change in enterprise value, right? And like, yeah, like one client, yeah, you've got like key person risk or key business risk, but at the same time, just do a good job and it'll be fine. So that's kind of like what I'm really interested at the moment, because it's like the small stuff, like, you know, you're dealing with like broke business owners that don't want to scale, and like the reality is if they wanted to do it, they'd be fucking doing it.
Yeah.
Like, if they wanted to run ads, they'd be running ads. If they want to learn marketing, they'd run marketing. If they want to learn crypto, they'd fucking learn it. Like, if you work at 9 to 5, you're just fucking lazy if you're not doing it.
So what's the number one thing you see in people that are holding themselves back, or one thing that you...
Comfort. Yeah. Like, they're just comfortable. And like, comfort's a drug. And then just like a bit of a lack of belief in themselves, you know, like the school system makes you shelter into a box, you put your hand up to go for a piss, and blah 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 blah. Like,
it's fucking true.
Like you just sheltered in. But if you believe in yourself and you don't have that limitation, then you can go, sweet, I can fucking do it.
Yeah, cool.
So that's kind of what I think. I'm like, you know, I used to be a real judgy motherfucker and judge everyone, but now I'm like, everyone's just doing the best they want, like, and people that want to do it, they'll do it. And now I'm like, well, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. Like, it's fine.
True.
Like,
and that comfort and that belief you see in people, how have you helped them break through that, or what have they done to get out of that little box there? It
really depends on the person. Like, so like I had like two clients, and one was just like straight up like, this is shit, fix it. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like that, I would say that to him. Like, like just real straightforward and real aggressive, and like this is where like personality types and all that kind of shit come into it. Like, you know, integrators and leaders and blah 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 blah, and like their communication styles and that kind of stuff. And like, you know, some people like work better being told, some people work better being showed, some people like you're doing it with them. And then another person I work with, I was really like, cool, like, what do you think about this? And they'd answer, like, do you think this would help? Yeah, like, if you could do like one thing, what do you think would be the best to like fix this?
Oh, fair enough. You're like a psychologist at the same time.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, I worked with like 5,000 people through all the gyms. Like, you know, through like we had coaches meeting talking about results and like hiccups and all that shit.
I feel like it's draining you, man.
Fuck yeah.
Like, fuck, you got PTSD when you're talking about this.
Yeah.
Like a knuckle draggers, you're trying to get off the ground.
Yeah, but like it was cool. Like I worked. Like, you know, I had like 100 clients when I was 19. Working,
that's fair.
Like, so, and then, you know, with the gyms, like, I was just working with so many different people. Like, one of my first clients, like, Scottish bloke named Mike, and like, you know, he had some challenges that we worked through, and then like I was training like 18-year-old chicks that just finished high school that just wanted to like stay fit. And I was training mums, and then I was training dudes that wanted to get jacked, and I was like, you know, you just get all these different experiences, and you learn, you just want to kind of like just reflect what they need and what they want and how they see the world and like their worldview, and just kind of mirror and like help them step through. Like some people work better with, you're a fuckwit, like sort it out, and others are like, well, like, you know, this and this, and like, what do you think, and how do you think we could make this better?
Yeah.
So all this stuff sort of behind you now. You're going into the big league now. Yeah, that's awesome, man. How old are you now?
I'm 27.
27. Fuck me, bro. That's a very good start in life, man.
Yeah. Like, it's like, you know, I really think, like, you know, people are like, I've been doing this for 20 years, and like, you know, there used to be PTs at Good Life. I've been doing this for 15, 20 years. I was like, bro, you're running 40 sessions a week. Like, it's nothing special. But then at the same time, if that's all they want, that's all they want.
That's true.
That's true.
And that's kind of what, like, you know, back then I was like, fuck's wrong with you? Like, and I'm like, well, if that's cool with you, you make $100,000 a year, and you
all perspective, man.
Yeah, like, so I think, like, I've gathered a lot of, like, old man perspective very early. I'm like, oh, well, if that's what you want, that's what you want.
That's
like,
true. If you're smashing in a business when you're 19, 20, man. I was smashing pingers when I was 19, 20.
Yeah.
I mean,
I did my
first,
I did my first pinger until I was 21. On my 21st birthday, one of my mates, I thought I was getting a Dexy, and he hooked me a pinger, and I was like, whoa. So, yeah, like, it's, I think that, like, kind of, like, journey for people, like, they just go through it themselves, right? And, like, like, I did a bunch of magic mushrooms and a bunch of weed in Thailand, and I was like, did, like, that whole, like, fuck, like, what's the meaning of life, and, like, what's the and you're like, wow, like, it's very sobering, but then it's just kind of, like, it's very liberating at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, that ego death and that, like...
So you've done shrooms a few times?
Yeah, I've done it a few times.
Would you say that sort of helped you open your mind a lot? Or?
I've always had a very open mind. Like, it's kind of been like, I'm more like sometimes I've gotten like fucking cooked, like interdimensional, like fucked. And I'm like, wow. But then other times I'm like, well, oh, okay, like it's just all that perspective stuff. I think that's always the game changer. I was like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, right, like understanding people's different perspectives and way of lives and their education and their problem solving and their way, like they, you know, same water that softens the potato hardens the egg.
Yeah. What was one of the biggest insights you ever got when you were on trips?
The whole like meaning of life. So you guys ever played Mario Kart?
Yeah.
You know the last level, Rainbow Road?
Oh, yes, yeah.
And it's like floating.
Yeah.
And like it's like kind of like tiles. So like my whole life was like tiles. So I was like, when I grew up and I was a kid and I was like driving him over, like I was like Mario, like driving over, and like I'd drive past, I'd like kind of go through all these different things in life, and then it kind of went into the future, and like I had kids and a family and like this, and I was traveling and like all these different things, and then as I like passed the finish line, the like thing dropped out, and I just like kept falling, and I was like in this, like I was sober, but like in this like trip, and I could feel myself like falling, and I just like hit this like concrete, and just went slam. It was like game over, like start again. And I was like, wow, that's life. Like, I don't know what happens in the afterlife and like all that kind of shit, but I was like, wow, that's wild.
That is wild, man.
That's not fair.
Damn. Do you believe in past life and things like that?
100%. So I got a pretty fucked up story. So when I was like a year or something old, or 2 years old or whatever, I was like sitting and I could walk and talk really young. Like, I don't know, like, but you know, I was walking before I was 2. Like, I was just super young, and I was like, my sister like taught me like times tables like before I was like 3. Like I could do all the times tables before I was 3.
Like a whiz kid.
Yeah, like, well, not whiz kid, but just kind of like just learnt stuff, and like my dad was just a loose cannon.
How's your memory?
Fucking amazing.
Like photographic memory?
I like, wouldn't say photographic, but like some things I'm like, I'll just like pull it out. Like I'd say close, and that was like one of the affirmations I used to say. Is just say like, I have a photographic memory. Everything I see, taste, touch, smell, hear, I can recall with crystal clear clarity. I wrote that out probably 3,000 times. Like, you know, write it out.
Okay.
So you're a big believer in NLP and that stuff.
Yeah. So I did like an NLP course. Like I said, I've just done so much shit. Like, you know,
that's interesting. You've written 3,000 times, and now you've got a fucking sharp memory.
Yeah.
That's crazy. We had a girl on the show here who does like physiotherapy, and she was saying that, which is 18. She's like, how cool would it be if I was the person everyone came to for information, and I would always have it. And now, like, was it 5, 6 years later?
Yeah.
She's like running retreats. People are asking her all these different questions. She's just bang, 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 bang,
Yeah.
bang, and he remembers that thing. So that's something I'm gonna fucking.
Yeah. No, I like. Sorry. I like.
Damn.
The past life thing. I don't know how I knew it or whatever. So anyway, like Mum's ex-boyfriend was born in August 16th or whatever. When I was like 2, I was like, Mum, how come Dad wasn't born on the 16th of August? And so there's no way I could have known that, like, except like some sort of life. And one of my business colleagues, he got hit by a car in New York City, pronounced dead.
Shit.
Like he went to, and he tells me he's like pretty fucked up story. He went to this afterlife, and he was like kind of all these like elderly kind of people, and they're like, oh, like, do you want to keep going? He's like, yeah. And then he kind of gets to this like point that he explained to me. He's like, do you want to like go back to your physical body, or do you want to keep going into the afterlife?
Damn.
Fuck.
And he comes back to his body, wakes back up.
Strong NDE.
Yeah, wakes back up and just like continues on with life. Like hit by a car, broken legs, broken ribs. And he was like laughing and talking. So he was like all adrenaline and shit like that. And I was like, wow. So there's a really good book, Journey of Souls.
Actually, yeah, my dad talks about that book.
Yeah, so like my mum, she's big on like astrology. Like I'll be in a shitty fucking mood and she's like, yeah, it's the full moon. I'm like, shut up, mum. Like, so yeah, it will. I kind of read that and I was like, oh fuck, like there's enough cases like that's not a coincidence.
This guy was a doctor, right?
Yeah.
And he had an NDE himself. And okay, yeah.
No, it's So yeah, I definitely believe in all that, and I definitely believe in like law of attraction. But like, there's law of attraction, and then do fucking something about it.
Yeah.
100%.
Right. So yeah, like I'm big on that. Like I think it's just having like the kind of good inputs, then you get good outputs, right?
Have you tapped any of your past lives, or have any ideas of something that you were?
No, not really. Like I did like past timeline therapy and stuff like that. And like I got some memories from like when I was so young, and I was like, I've not thought about that in like 20, 25 years. And I just remember these things and like doing it and stuff like that. Like it's definitely interesting, but like I find like learning about all that shit, it's very isolating, and it's very like. Your mates will be talking about something and like you listen to their language patterns and they're like, oh, I'm this, I'm that. And you're like, oh, well, you're not. Like, you can fix it, but it's not my role to fix it.
Yeah.
So it's like, like I learned NLP at like 23, 24.
Yeah.
And I was like, it literally just came up on my Facebook memories the other day. And I was like, oh, yeah, I can't remember all that. Like, I did all those courses and shit like that. But I'm like, oh, it's fucking isolating. It's like going down the rabbit hole, right? Like, everyone thinks you're a fucking crazy man.
Yeah,
that's true. Until you find your way out and you turn into a Tony Robbins like you are now. So it's just a fucking journey you got to go through, I suppose. But all that stuff is going to benefit you in your business role and training people up and that sort of thing. And it just shows that maybe out of your old friends, you got a different path than they do.
Yeah, definitely. I think and that's what I've learned is like these relationships like they come and go and like you either grow together or grow apart. So like if your mate's always growing and doing your shit, then like you got stuff to talk about. But like if they're kind of stable and just kind of doing the thing, which is completely fine. But like there's just less and less to talk about.
True, very very true, man.
So that's kind of one of those things. I'm like I like it, and like I love that. I've got mates from when I was like 12, from like year 7, 15 year mates I've known. Like I had my 10-year high school reunion the other week, and just blokes I hadn't seen in 10 years, and just slapped it up, and like nothing's happened. Like, what's up, bro? Like, which is awesome. Like you can just talk shit about like the old days and stuff like that. So I find that stuff pretty cool.
Yeah. Have you found like are there people like you've like outgrown? Like
100%. Like there's just like nothing in common, and like it's. It's not I'm not your guardian. Like you do you. Like I think like probably the most liberating thing of coming out of high school is like you don't have to hang out with anyone at any time.
Yeah. That's
so
true,
like
that's true,
if you don't hang out with them, like you don't have to hang out with them, and that's that.
Yeah, no, that's true.
So like there's plenty, and like and like especially like in intimate relationships as well. Like when I was younger, I was like I was doing all this stuff and growing, and I was just kind of like doing nothing. It's very hard to keep it up.
Yeah.
Because it's like, like the mental stimulation, whereas like now, like a bit older, you meet like females that have like done some really cool shit. You're like, wow, like, you're really invested in what they've done and interested in what they've done, which is, I find really cool. But I think, both, like, that's life though. Like, you're always going to outgrow people and you're always going to like keep growing, and like, if you're not growing, you're dying, right? So. Yeah,
that's true. Do you find like in your intimate relationship, that's like an element of something that you look for in a partner as well?
Yeah, 100%. Like in something like serious. Like, because, there's only so far that sex and going out for dinner and talking shit about what you do on the weekend. Like, there's only so far that can go. Whereas, like, you want someone that, like, they're doing their own shit and, like, they're independent. Like, I'm so independent. Like, I can go for a 3-hour walk with no headphones, no phone, and be so happy. Whereas, I don't need company. I don't need anything. Like, I can just be fine. So I think that if a lot of people can't do that, then they just got to work on themselves if they want to. And if they don't want to, then that's also fine. So like for me, it's a really big thing. Like someone mentally challenging, and like you can talk about the depths of the world and go on a 3-day bender. like, I think if you can do both, then that's perfect.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Right. So and that's kind of like, work hard, play hard. I completely agree in that. Like, I did phases 6 months, 12 months of not going out, not socialising, and I'm like, well, like, what's the point, right? Like, you can keep working and like being goal driven and all that stuff's really cool. And I think it's just finding that balance for you and finding what suits for you in terms of like your kind of map of the world of what you want, and if going out and partying and meeting people and socialising. I've met some of my best friends 4 a.m. on a couch, like hanging out, like
after a night out.
Yeah. So it's like I've done that, like mates that I've fucking and like we're like best mates, and then met other people at lunchtime over coffee and fucking chatting shit. So
I think
it's kind of both things. So like, I think as long as you know who you are and you're not like a kind of a pushover and like you just kind of like crumble to what like other people expect of you, you'll be fine, because people either love it or hate it. And like unless you're like fucking vanilla and everyone's like vanilla.
Yeah. So you got to be very grounded in yourself.
Yeah, big time.
Are there any practices or rituals that you do in your life to keep you sharp or to keep your mind open and these sorts of things, like meditation?
Yeah, like I train a lot. Like I love training. It's like my soul. Like I just love it. Like I get a lot of fulfillment about like getting stronger or like achieving stuff in the gym. Like
what kind of training do you do?
I just do strength training.
Yeah,
like it's like bench press and deadlifts and shit like that. I don't train legs. And like
you don't train legs?
No, I don't train legs. I don't like it. Don't enjoy it. So why do I do it?
You deadlift though? That's a bit of leg.
Yeah, but like I don't do squats and lunges and all that shit. I just don't enjoy it. And like my mates, like I played baseball for 5 years. Played for WA. Like I was a catcher, and like I can hold a squat for half an hour. Like just sit down and squat.
Life's too short.
Yeah. So it's just like if you don't enjoy it, if you don't enjoy training legs, why the fuck do you do it? Like that's my whole thing. Like my mates, like one of my mates hit me up and said, let's go train legs. I was like, absolutely not. Harvey Norman, zero interest.
So like the strength training, what else we got in your
Yeah, like I drink a litre of water every day when I wake up. That sits behind my bed or next to my bed. I don't sleep with my phone in my room. That's like my golden rule. Like just
use some water. This is all on.
Yeah, perfect. I don't sleep with my phone in my room. I think like that is like I did it and then I stopped and I was like, wow, like I just used to wake up feeling pretty average. I stopped that in like 2016. Like that's my one piece of advice.
No phone in the room.
Don't sleep with your phone in your room. And you get up, have a shower, brush your teeth, do whatever you want to do, leave it outside your room, whatever, and then you start your day and then you can pick whether you want it. Whereas, but once every blue moon, I'll get it and I'll be on charge and I'll go into the toilet and I'll go have a piss and then next thing you know, I'm pissing sitting down on my phone and like. So I just think that don't like that. That's like number one. And again, find an exercise form that you like. I had hundreds of clients over the years that I hate the gym. I'm like, quit. Like, just leave. I don't care about your money. Just leave. Go do something you enjoy. Like, the best diet's the one you'll follow. I like nutrition. I just eat. Like, I know what works for me. Like, I do a super high carb, high protein, low fat diet, and that works for me. Some people hate it. Some people get bloated. Like my sister, she does super high fat and like low carb, and that works for her. So like diet advice, I never give to people. Like. That's the one thing I love about not being in the gyms anymore. Like, no one asks me for diet advice. It's fucking great. And you got people arguing over keto and paleo and vegans and carnivore, and I'm just like, fucking miss me with that.
That's actually true. When I was a big leader, I hated that. But if you give someone advice that you think is good and them is different, and it's like, holy shit, I'm in a debate now. I just don't want to be there.
And that's honestly about it. Like, I used to do a bunch of meditation. I used to be really, like, I had a morning routine, and I read and write affirmations and that kind of stuff. And like, it's good and it worked, but I'm like, for that stuff, at the end of the day, just do the fucking work.
Need more action.
Like, that's the thing. I just kind of learned that. Like, and I can get into that and like do my meditation. Like, if I'm stressed, I'll just like put a timer on my phone for 5 minutes and just close my eyes and breathe through my nose and just like literally just focus on hitting the nose and exhaling, and then like I'm calm. But I think, like I learned a lot about state control, right? Like it's like that pendulum swinging. Like the more you can just stay neutral, like throughout everything. Like, something fucking wild happens. Like I used to be a turbo. Like I used to like punch walls and all that kind of shit. And now something wild happens, I'll just go.
Nice deep breath,
and just kind of like blow it over. And then something good happens, like I try not to get too excited, right? Because like if you're too excited, something bad's got to happen, because that's like duality of life. So
so like emotional mastery.
Like
for you, that's breath work. Or,
just breathing, right? Because the it's like generally like emotion will trigger adrenaline and up your heart rate, fight or flight. So the more you can bring that back to neutral,
nice.
You're going to be better. So yeah, like I don't have some crazy like routine stuff like drink a litre of water when I wake up, try to drink 4 litres of water a day, don't eat shit. You know, if I'm going to party and just enjoy it. Like I don't have a like, you know, you have to do this and that. And like, but like I think I did all that, right? Like same thing with like calories and nutrients now. Most things, if I looked at it, I'd probably be able to tell you the calories in it, between 50 to 100 calories. Like I weighed my food for 5 years. I can pick up a thing of almonds and drop 30 grams in there. Like, you know, like, you know, and I can like look at a piece of chicken and like cut 150 grams cooked, which is 200 grams raw. So anything chicken cooked, you divide it by 0.75 to get the raw weight, and then there's, you know, in a cup of rice, there's 22 grams of carbs and 3 grams of protein.
You're a fucking encyclopedia.
Yeah, like so I can do all that shit, right? Like you know, like for nut butter, like, you know, eggs are 7 grams of protein, 5 grams of fat for an average egg, just shit like that. So like I just know all these things. So I think like I can look after myself pretty well. You know, like whatever that. So yeah, like I think rituals and routines, like you are your habits and you are your rituals. Like not your habit, like the shit you do religiously. That's who you are. So if you want to be like, you know, you want to be a morning person, just wake up in the morning. That was my big thing. I was like, I was never a morning person. I used to work at the Claremont Hotel when I was 18. I was like, I'm never a morning person. But then, you know, shit, I had to wake up at 4 a.m. to go to the gym and run clients, and voila, I'm a morning person now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just kind of like, I think a lot of people get like pigeonholed into labels, and they label themselves as this and that, and then it's very hard to shake that label.
Sure.
So if you don't label yourself as anything, and like, you know, like your identity is fluid and like you're always changing. And back like when I sold the gyms, I went from Jack, the CEO, who everyone called, who had a problem. Literally like 14th of February, I sold. 15th was a Saturday. 16th was a Sunday. Monday, no calls. I was like, fuck, my whole identity that I built up over 6 years was just shattered.
Wow.
Yeah,
right. I was no longer this gym owner anymore. Like I had no responsibilities, no staff. I was like done.
How'd that feel?
It was fucked. I was proper depressed for a while. I was supposed to go traveling and shit. Like I just like lost all sense of purpose.
Was it like maybe the dopamine wasn't firing the way it used to?
Yeah, well, I just think like I just had nothing to look forward to, right? Like I had a bunch of cash and I had some money and shit, and I was like, well, there's like, what's the point of all this? And then I was supposed to go traveling, so I kind of got really excited for that. I got 2 weeks in, then I had to come back to Perth because of COVID. That was like March of last year, and like I had a really big identity loss. Like all these things that I thought I was, like Jack to this, Jack to that, was just gone. You know, like this business that I had like literally spent pretty much every waking moment for the last 6 years building was no longer mine, and I was like, fuck.
That's like all your adult life.
Yeah, it was like 20 to 26. So it was like that kind of shit is like, I think for people that have gone through it, like, you know, it's like, it's wild. Like, so I think like, you know, kind of people that have gone from being like married with kids to single, like they just don't know who they are. And,
True,
like, you know, you just lose this identity.
Well, a lot of suicides happen, like big crashes, financial crashes. You know, I remember in 2008, the big crash, people jumping out of the building.
Yeah.
They didn't know who they were without
their label,
money
right?
And their label. Yeah. It's just scary, but...
So I think like that shit's like so powerful. Like if you can kind of master that, and like I kind of think like like identity's fluid. And we read this book, and then my business partner, I was trying to work something out like on a fucking CRM, building it out, and like we follow this guy, and he was like, it's not hard, you're just stupid.
Hey, that's fucking true. It's a hard truth. Sometimes you gotta eat that shit.
Yeah, and like it was just like, it's not hard, you're just stupid. And he said that to me, and I was like, oof. And like that's one of those things that's just stuck with me. I'm like, anything can be solved with 20 hours of work. Like if you put 20 hours into most things,
it's not hard, you're just stupid. I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a fucking quote, Brian. We'll get your face. That's dope.
Wake up in the morning on the roof.
Yeah.
I gotta make a fucking meme out of that. That's fucking legit.
It's like, you know, it's not hard, you're just stupid. No, that's just stuck with me for so long. Like this, and so like now it's like, you know, whenever I'm trying to work something out, I'm just getting frustrated. It's like someone's done this, you know, like, and you like business and stuff like that. You're not doing anything new. Like you're just like reinventing the wheel. Like you're just adding your own little flavour, solving a little bit of a different problem. Like in that kind of world. Like again, never been an engineer. Like never done that shit. So yeah, like there's some stuff that you need to work out there. I've never ddone open heart surgery or brain surgery. Okay, cool. There's again 100% shit that you need to work out there. But like for the 98% of other people watching this, they're not doing that. Like
Yeah,
100%.
that's true.
Yeah, so it's like, you're going out there like trying to start a business, like, you've seen enough examples of people starting a business and doing like 100K. Okay, cool. Like, it's just, you need to work it out yourself.
I'm going to recap just so I can get some good content for this.
Yeah.
When someone's just starting a business, what are the fundamental keys of success in that business?
Yeah.
Off the ground.
Product market fit. So making sure there's a market for a product that has money to buy your product. That is it. That's all you need.
That's it.
And sell before you build.
Sell before you build.
Okay.
Sell before you build, 100%. Because, you can go build this thing and spend hours and hours and hours, no one wants it.
True.
So sell before you build, make sure there's a product that the market is hungry and that has the money. So perfect example, like you want to go start how to write resumes for people that are unemployed.
I suppose.
How do you start that?
Exactly,
Yeah.
right? Well, the people that are unemployed don't have jobs.
Yeah.
But you flip that to a HR consultant, they're fucking making millions.
It is.
My
That's true, yeah.
housemate was, it's the same thing, wanting jobs, but they're employed, they're needing. So it's like, if you don't have a product market fit of people that can pay, well then it's just, there's no business.
True.
Like our business model for the gyms was there's 100 people that want to get in better shape anywhere. So that was our business model. 100 people, $100 a week, 500K a year, 200K profit. That was our business model. That was it. We did no market research. But we had no business plan. We had Facebook ads. Find 100 people that want to train with us. Charge them $100 a week. That's it.
Damn, it was really simple.
That's it, right?
It's simple.
Like any sort of business, that's all it is. Product market fit. Sell before you build.
Beautiful.
Yeah, like you can open a gym with 50 members for pre-sale. Like you can open you want to do like anything, right? Like unless you've got these massive capex expenditures and stuff like that, but that's what music festivals are. They sell the tickets and they do it. If there's no
Yeah.
No interest yet, 100%.
So that's I think the big thing, and everything else is like cool. Sales, like a sales letter, selling people can you talk about their needs, the desires, wants, fears, frustration. That's all that's all minutiae stuff. But it's like you go put like a bar in a place. There's 100 people that live there. Is that going to be enough to sustain it? Don't know. But you go put a bar in Perth City. You do a good job. You have good staff. You'll be fine. It's like one of my really close friends, he opened a sandwich shop in Fremantle. And it just goes crazy. Like he sells I don't know how many sandwiches a day.
What's it called?
Peggy's.
Peggy's? Yeah,
in Freo on the main drag.
Oh, nice.
And they're the best fucking sandwiches I've had.
Yeah, man.
He does unreal stuff.
I want to check it out.
Great sandwiches in a place where there's uni students. And he's open on Sundays, Another fucking crazy idea. Open your business when people can access it.
Fucking true.
Dry cleaners that aren't open on the weekend.
That's annoying. There's a restaurant I fucking like. It's Juicy Beetroot in Freo.
Yeah.
Closed on the weekends. 2 o'clock they sell out. I'm like,
Yeah.
fuckers, you know what I
I
mean?
mean, some places close on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be open when your customers want to use your service. Simple.
True.
It's like if we opened gyms 9 till 5. I'd be broke.
Okay, yeah.
I would be telling these stories.
100%.
But you get up at 5:15 because people want to come train at 5:30.
That is true. Yeah.
So like business advice, I think it's follow one thing, and actually enjoy what you're doing. And you can do something for a long time without enjoying it. I stopped enjoying the gyms in 2018, but I pushed through until 2020 because I had that responsibility and shit like that. But I'm the more responsibility you have as well, the more you'll make. When we had all these wages and stuff like that, whereas I make way less money now, but I have no responsibilities. So yeah, I find business advice so crazy because people want the craziest thing, but it's just get something you like doing, make sure there's a market for it, and that's it.
Fucking beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Simple,
Okay,
easy.
well, any questions?
No, that's it.
We'll leave it there, man.
Yeah.
It's
Thanks
good,
again,
man.
brother.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Good, man.
Thanks.
We're gonna do today.